All right, we're back. Okay, let's go. We're back on. I'm having weird problems here with my camera. Look, it just takes a picture and it freezes. See? All right, what are you going to do? That's life. This is not the real me. I'm actually moving. I don't know why they picked this picture of all pictures. Okay. Oh, Menachem Shalom. All right, we're back. It was a temporary. We temporarily lost our electricity, but we did not lose our motivation. This picture got frozen. This is not, I don't know why the picture is frozen. It's not an accurate picture of me. It was.
You're frozen again.
A minute ago or something. Okay. Oh, I think this is is it the camera? Is it this? I don't know. Look at this weird picture. Okay, right, let's go.
It's a camera. Are you on a different laptop than the last few months?
No. Same thing. Same as before. And interestingly enough, this weird picture does not come out in the YouTube. Doesn't come out in YouTube. All right, we'll figure it out. Let's just learn.
It must be the Shekhinah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Hashem has something to do with it for sure. Here we go. Ready? Okay, what did we learn? We're learning a speech that was given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1992. Just a month and a half, whatever, before he had a stroke, which made it impossible for him to speak. And in this, the Rebbe is talking about Moshiach, as usual, the most important topic in creation, and how it's supposed to happen any second. It's very late. And the Rebbe gives all sorts of hints and reasons and indications that any second this is supposed to happen. What a bizarre picture. Why is this picture up here? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see. Maybe. So we other people, no. All right. That's it. We'll have to live with this picture. Okay. So the Rebbe says, especially the month of Shvat. The month of Shvat is a month which is very, very propitious for the coming of, propitious is a good word, anyway, it's a proper time for the Moshiach to come. Any time is, but especially the month of Shvat. Why? Because first of all, Shvat is the date when the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, he stopped the second period of his rulership. The second period of rulership. The third period of rulership of the previous Rebbe, who the Rebbe said several times is the Moshiach. The third period of the previous Rebbe's rulership is on Yud Shvat, 1 year after. Actually, it was Yud Aleph Shvat, the day after Yud Aleph Shvat, 1 year after his passing. It was 1951, but in Hebrew, that's Tafshin Yud Aleph. So it comes out that the Shvat is the 11th month, and this is Tafshin Yud Aleph is the 11th year, and it was the date was the 11th day, Yud Aleph Shvat. That was the day that the Lubavitcher Rebbe, our Rebbe, took over to be Rebbe. So the Rebbe said the number 10 is completeness, and the number 11 is one above the source of completeness. That's like the crown. That's the whole idea of the Moshiach. And the whole month, the word Shevet means rulership. It means a staff of rulership. And it also means a branch, like it says, a Choter Geza Yishai. The Moshiach will be a branch from King David. In any case, so like he said, the previous Rebbe, he is the example of Mashiach. He is the Mashiach of our generation. Mashiach will be a human being, and he'll do exactly what the previous Rebbe did. So don't expect it has to be someone riding on a huge white donkey or a fish or something like that, and he's going to, come with X-rays or gamma rays or whatever it is, cosmic rays, and he'll kill all the enemies, and he's going to be a human being, a regular human being, and he's going to educate the whole world. And then when that happens, there's going to be big changes. The Holy Temple will come from heaven. All the Jews will come to the land of Israel. But that's the goal of the Mashiach. The purpose of the Mashiach is to bring the whole world back to their senses. to realize there's a creator, and the creator gave the Torah. The Torah is the only truth, the only time the creator ever told the world what he wants, and that the whole world will realize it. Yakiru v'yedu kol yeshvei teva. We say it 3 times a day in our Aleinu prayer. L'goy lapol. What are we supposed to actually do? Because we are now on the last Shabbat in this month. This is the Shabbat that gives the blessing to the next month. The next month is Shvat. Especially the 10th day of Shvat. So each and every person has to accept on themselves lahosif, to add on, beyeter say with more power, beyeter oz, with more, and you say enthusiasm. B'maisav in his deeds, Torato, his Torah, ba'avodato, in his service of Hashem, in the way that the Baal Halilula, the how do you say the Baal Halilula, the one we are rejoicing with. Who is we rejoicing with? The previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. What's it rejoicing? That's the day he passed away, especially on the 10th day of Shvat. So each person has to accept on himself and to add with more energy and more than what we did this. Asher Torah, that his Torah, that his Asher Harina, the ways that he taught us, Midorachav, for his ways, v'nilchu b'orchotav, and we should go in the path that he set out. What path did the previous Rebbe set out? And the previous Rebbe, first of all, he defied the communist government. This was like, insane. If things are bad in America now, and they got the FBI is going, rummaging into everybody's private affairs, and they got surveillance cameras and things like that. Well, in Russia, it was much worse. In Russia, it's much worse. At least in America, there's a lot of people that are complaining. There's someone complaining. There's people on the radio, they're complaining about what's going on. The FBI is fixed and the courts are fixed, but there's people that are complaining. In Russia, if you complained, that's it. You were gone. Stalin killed 20, 30 millions of his own people. I read 50 million people of his own people. Killing people was like, no problem. Nobody disagreed. No one complained. You couldn't complain in Russia. And the previous Rebbe complained. The previous Rebbe not only complained, but he directed a whole entire movement which was totally non-communist. That was like, unheard of. Unheard of, saying, and the previous Rebbe did it, and he succeeded. And a lot of his Hasidim got caught, and a lot of them got killed, and he also got caught, and he was sentenced to death. But he defied them right to the end. For what? Because he said the children are going to learn Torah. That's his whole thing. Somebody even came to the previous Rebbe and said that, don't you understand, you are going against the Torah. That's according to the Torah, you're not allowed to risk your life for teaching Torah, only for idolatry, not to do idolatry or decadence or to kill somebody else. If someone puts a gun to your head and says either worship this idol or I'll kill you, so you're supposed to say, then kill me. I'm not going to worship an idol. But if someone puts a gun to your head and says, stop educating children or I'll kill you, you have to stop. As we didn't risk your life. And the Rebbe risked his life and the life of his Hasidim. So the Rebbe said, I'm willing to lose this world. I'm willing to lose the world to come. I don't care if I go to hell. Makes no difference. But Jewish children are going to learn Torah. That's what he said. And it worked. Almost everybody today that knows at least that they're Jewish, that there is any identity of Judaism in Russia, it's, in the main part because of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. There were also other groups that did the Torah, but not like the previous Rebbe. He actually spread out. That everyone, that's what it means that we should go in the ways, the path that the Rebbe set out for us. That's just a little bit overproud, and especially Ba'abitl, B'Itkashus, one should be totally in harmony and surrendered and attached to the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. Nasi, he's the king of our generation, the leader. The Nasi is everything. That each and every person, everything he has, Bakol Mikol, should be holy and devoted to the ideas, the teachings, the ways, the instructions of what the previous Rebbe set down. Why should we do that? Why? By means of this. that we are enthusiastic and permeated and, totally devoted, just like the Rebbe was, to the things that he wanted. He's the Moses of our generation, the first redeemer. He's the last redeemer. Shenyano Ikri, the main thing is to bring to the Moshiach actually. That should be our main interest. And good, you can be interested, but you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Like someone is, falls down in the middle of the street, and you don't know, you're not a paramedic. You don't know what to do. So you run, you start hugging them and kissing them and moving them. Right? I love you. You'll get better. You get healed. Right? You're breaking the guy's spine. Come on. You have to administer him first aid. The previous Rebbe is telling us how to administer first aid to the world in order to bring Moshiach. That we have to be totally involved in a happy way in Torah and the commandments, with the idea that we want Mashiach now. Well, the Hosif, and to add, Shayadia should take over miyad, that immediately he said the previous Rebbe will come in to this room. The Rebbe is speaking in 770. Because it says that all of the dead will raise. Umabit, I'll call it, he will look at everyone of the Hasidim, Hamakushorim, Livchom, and he will check out if you did everything that you can in your potential. Mores, when we think that this is going to happen, this arouses us and brings about the sayeo hashlim to help us and to complete, like the language of shlemus, completion, everything that we're doing. In other words, what the Rebbe is saying, this is also in the sikha that the Rebbe gave, you have to be a bit crazy. If you're too normal, you take the world as it is, and you try to fit in and to integrate yourself into the world and be harmonious with the world as it is, then, you might get along okay in the world, and you'll get along with the least amount of troubles and problems and everything, but that's not going to destroy communism, Stalin's communism. You have to go totally against the stream, but you have to do it not on your terms, but on God's terms. Before Stalin took office, there was the Russian Revolution. I read a little bit of history. In the Russian Revolution, there were all these different factions that were warring one with the other. There were the Mensheviks and the Bolsheviks and the whites and the there was tens of groups, and they shot at each other. They killed each other. They were fighting in the streets going on. They say that 1 million, 2 million people died in those fights. So he had a lot of opposition. There was a lot of opposition, but they were all fighting for wrong reasons. None of them had a desire to fight for the Torah. And the one that did fight for the Torah, he said, the way you're going to win is not with guns. You're not going to win by killing people. You have to somehow or other convince people. How are you going to convince people? He says, first of all, you have God with you. And God is the only one that convinces people anyway. Right? Even if you have your next door neighbor who drives over your road, your grass, you can talk to him nice, but only God is going to convince the person. You can't convince anybody to do anything. You can't. You can convince people to do bad things, but in the end, it's only God that's doing the work, right? You can talk until you're blue to the face in somebody, right? And only if God helps, and the person has to want to himself, and that's what the Rebbe is trying to say. We have to fix the world up in God's terms. The way to do that is you have to fix yourself up, and you have to go out and at least give everyone the opportunity to know that there's an option to what they're doing. And this is, you have to be genuine. You have to work hard. There's a lot of prayer, a lot of Torah. But therefore, it is proper to make forbringers, a special forbringer, beginning on this Shabbat, this coming Shabbat Mavorchin, that blesses the month of Shvat, and the next month is coming. Nosov, in addition to the forbringer that you make on every Shabbat, the Hasidic gatherings you should make on every Shabbat. Shenemar, it said in Parshat Shabbat, Vayakel Moshe, Vayakel Kehilot. Vayakel means that he gathered. We should gather together on every Shabbat, especially this year. This is the year of Hakel. They should gather in the synagogues and all of the places of learning, and to learn Torah in a group, and especially on Rosh Chodesh Shvat. Rosh Chodesh Shvat, which this year is what it is, Sunday night. Sunday night is Rosh Chodesh Shvat. And Nosaf, in addition to what is the custom that every Rosh Chodesh we make Hasidic gatherings, and also this month of Shvat is the 11th month. Be'echad b'chodesh, on the first day of Shvat. What happened back then? 3,300 and I guess it's 3,297 years ago. The Jewish people were all gathered at the border of Israel, about to come in, without Moses, and Moses explained the whole Torah. That's the whole book of Deuteronomy. It began there. Ba'ashtei Asar Chodesh, on the 11th month, which is Shvat, on the first day of that month, Hoyel Moshe began to explain the whole Torah. And he explained the whole Torah, listen to this, everyone, in 70 languages. Moses knew 70 languages. Who was he talking to? He was talking to the Jews who understood what he was talking about. Understood Hebrew, right? Maybe some of them understood Egyptian. Moses explained the Torah in 70 languages. Tochan Avodato, this is the whole, and this is also what the previous Rebbe did, that he spread out ideas of Chassidut in languages, different languages. He translated into French, Spanish, English, the Russian, the order to arouse and to strengthen everyone, Bakal and Yani Mamonim, and everything that we said, and especially to speed up and bring the redemption immediately. And so again, the Rebbe wants us to look at the world like a man that's in a coma, and that any second is going to wake up. Any second, the whole world is going to just be a different, vibrant, beautiful, meaningful, blessed place. Any second. The problem is, a person that's in a coma, at least you knew what he was before. And we don't know what the world is supposed to be. So that's what we were to learn Chassidut, in order to give us a little bit of an idea of godliness that's supposed to be revealed here. We should arouse, and especially we should arrange for the forbringing on the 10th day of Shvat. That certainly will be together. We will be together with the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Rebbe said this 30 years ago. We Jews do believe in the raising of the dead. It is one of the 13 principles, basic foundations of Jewish faith. The dead will rise. Death is only a temporary thing. The grave is only a waiting room. And all the dead will raise up. How it's going to be with incarnations and things like that, God will take care of that. But the fact is that the dead will raise up. And so the previous Rebbe, that the Rebbe said many times, is the Moshiach. He will raise up and he'll be the Moshiach, or the Rebbe will be the Moshiach. Well, that's how it'll work it out. But whoever it's going to be, it's going to be. And it's going to be somebody exactly with the qualifications that the Maimonides sets down, and that's the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. Nasi Doreinu, he's the leader of our generation. He'll be in the head. And Moses and Aaron, they're the ones that are talking about taking the Jews out of Egypt, will be with them. Right? All the dead will raise up. Moses will be there. Aaron will be there. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Came and sins to take up him out immediately. On this Shabbat, Parshat Ve'era, the Rebbe is speaking right now. Even before we start to read Parshat Bo, before we pray Mincha. Yotzim, all the Jewish people will go out of exile. Bino Reinu, our children, our elders. Banenu B'Zakenenu, our sons and our daughters. Our sons and our daughters. Like we read in Mincha, Parsha Mincha, Boel Paro. And that's the third chapter of the book of Exodus. And that's when Moses goes into Paro and says, we're leaving, that's it. And there's 3 more plagues, and the Jews get out in the plague of darkness, of the plague of the firstborn, I'm sorry. The Midrash says, Reuven and Shimon will go out. They'll all go out of Israel. The Kol Bnei Israel, all the Jewish people will go out of the exile now into the GEULA Mitiv Tashlema. Right, just as back then no one dreamed that they would leave Egypt and mass all the Jews together. All of a sudden, it says not one slave ever escaped from Egypt, and they all got out. We can't believe that God will take the Egypt out of all the Jews en masse all of a sudden. Kol Aliyah Bnei Israel, all the Jewish people will elevate themselves to the level of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Ha'etzem the Israel, essence of the Jewish people, how they are one with the essence of God. Now, just to point out again, when the Jewish people are united, when anybody is united with God, what does that mean? It makes him more dynamic in this world, more active, more alive, more loving, more caring, more perceptive. More involved in the world. That's what it means when you feel God, because God is involved in the world. God's creating all these bugs and blades of grass and things like that. That's pretty involved. And we'll be connected to that power and that involvement. We'll be alive. And this, the Eloi achar Eloi, level after level, without any end, like it says, we'll go from strength to strength, to God in Israel. The Beit HaMikdash Shlishi will have the third temple. And not only that, it'll be a third temple, Hamishulash, and it'll be triple. What do you mean triple? The Kohanim, the Levim, the Yisraelim, and it'll come from the third, going out of the third exile. We left the exile of Egypt, the exile of Babylon. Now we're in the exile of Rome. It says, Mikdash Hashem Konan Dedecha, the holy temple will be built by God Himself, and all the Jews will go there in order to do all the commandments. The whole world will be happy, productive, blessed, and holy, and alive. It says even the dead will come alive. That'll be pretty good. So that's what's waiting for us. And just even though we had a brief electrical shortage, as the electricity came on, and everything started to work. And that's what the future redemption is going to be like. All of a sudden, the electricity is going to come and everything will start to work. We'll realize that everything was just shut off. Our minds were shut off. Our souls were shut off. And that everything will come alive. Okay, very good. Good. We succeeded. We overcame. Now let's do the Yom Yom. Here we go.